Welcome back, watchers and listeners, to another special episode of What We Watch. I am your co-host, Garett Christofferson, here with my fellow co-host,
Natalie Briggerhoff.
I never know what to say, co-host or just host. I change it every single time.
I don't even know what I've said in the past. So.
Yeah, fellow person.
Podcaster.
Yeah. But yes, today, as I'm assuming you already know since you clicked on this video, we will be discussing Stranger Things, specifically Stranger Things Season 5 in the finale that just came out last week. We have waited a few days, kind of mulled over our thoughts, let it kind of simmer, and now we are ready to talk about it. But according to lobotomized people on Twitter and TikTok, we might be getting a special episode tomorrow.
We're already getting into
or Wednesday. I just wanted to talk about that real quick because for those who don't know, by the time this comes out, I think it's coming out Thursday, so it'll be past. But there are some fans who are so convinced that the Duffers are hiding a secret final episode that'll be releasing tomorrow, January 7th. Be
so greatly disappointed.
And people are like, they truly have 100% convinced themselves that it's happening. And it's so, seeing like their evidence is so funny because it is just the biggest stretch I have ever seen in my life. It's so stupid.
My favorite is when a video comes up and it's like, people are theorizing that there's going to be another episode of Stranger Things that's going to release. And the evidence is crazy. Like, listen to all these things. And then I listen and I'm like, huh, how did you get from here to there? But you know what? I must say, coming from a Taylor Swift fan who looks, I mean, I'm not a crazy one that like looks into everything, but like I listen to all the theories and stuff. I just am like, I never get ahead of myself for anything. And so it's just funny to see like another fandom do that to the extent that like people do it in other things. I also remember when Summer I Turned Pretty season 2 came out, that people were like, there's going to be a secret episode. And I was just like, why does everybody think that? Why would anybody in their right mind just release a random episode after the season has ended? Like, it makes no sense.
Especially
where would they start the episode?
We'll get into it momentarily, but this finale was so like definitive, like ending. Like,
no,
this is
I know.
the end.
I'm like, where would they begin?
We spent an hour on an epilogue. Why would they do another episode? It doesn't make sense.
It's so weird. People are like so insane. And like the theories of what they think the like episode would be about, I'm just like, I want to just like laugh in their face. Just be like, haha, you're stupid.
There's videos I've seen where it's funny because there's some, even before the finale came out, there were like theories people had that I was like, oh, that would actually be like really, really cool. But that's probably not going to happen because it's just not that kind of show. Like the people who thought like Will was secret, like the Mind Flayer was making people forget about Will because they forgot his birthday and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's actually could be really cool, but it's not going to happen.
But they haven't,
Yeah, they have not. Like, going back to the secret episode thing, I remember when Severance Season 2 came out and people were thinking like, oh, there might be a secret final episode, which obviously there wasn't. And it wasn't nearly as big of a theory as it is here. But that's like the only show that I would think could potentially ever do that. Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that I'm like, what do you think Netflix, the Duffer Brothers, the entire cast of Stranger Things, etc., gains from hiding a secret episode and then releases it later? They gain nothing.
Nothing.
They gain nothing. So why would they do it? They wouldn't. And when people, sorry, I didn't realize I was so upset about this, but when people theorize about this, it's just like, it drives me nuts because when have you seen this happen?
Never.
When have you seen somebody come out with a secret something that they didn't tell you about? This never happens. It's not going to happen. I'm so sorry.
Who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll eat our words, but
Can you imagine? We actually come back tomorrow and we're like, guys, we're sorry.
If a secret Stranger Things episode actually comes out tomorrow, January 7th, I will shave my head. That is how convinced I am that it's not going to happen.
Is it the 7th or is it the 12th that they think it's coming out?
They think it's the 7th because of the number 7 and a bunch of stuff like that. But
dice.
some people are saying like, oh, it'll be the 12th. But the 12th is because they're releasing like a documentary on the making of the show on the 12th. Yeah, which has gotten people, and Netflix has posted about that.
I feel like that's why they like posted about it though.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's because they were like, guys, you're dumb. This is what's happening if this is what you think is going to be. Like, anyways, whatever.
It just...
Crazy.
Anyways.
It's also just distracting from like the conversation of like everything else. And so I'm just like, you guys are looking like clowns.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, I want to talk about that first just to get that out of the way because I think
and now
hilarious.
We can talk about the show.
Yeah, now we can talk about the actual show, the things that are real and aren't made up. So, we're not going to do, this will probably end up being a shorter episode than our normal ones, just like a bonus episode for those who've listened to like our Superman one, Thunderbolts one from the past. So we're not going to do our normal, what we've watched kind of stuff. We're just going to jump right into it.
Get right in there.
How we're going to organize it, though, just to let you guys know, is we're going to talk about the finale first, our individual negatives and our individual positives, season 5 as a whole, our negatives and positives, and then overall show thoughts, as well as our season's ranking of how we would rank the seasons.
Period.
So
I'm ready.
We'll start with the finale. We'll do the negatives first. We'll get our negatives out of the way.
Negatives out of the way.
So,
okay.
Natalie, what are your negatives on the finale?
I feel like I planned this out as if I was going to say my positives and then go into my negatives. So I'm going to backtrack.
Sorry.
Just stay with me.
I was going to do that
Everybody
first.
stay with me.
We were going to do positives first, but then I was like, I kind of want to end off on a high note rather than
I like it. I
note.
like it.
Yeah.
But you're just going to have to listen to me because I feel the need to also defend.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the biggest negative for most people is the fight, which is so fair. And I think that that's a valid reason to be upset about the finale. I've heard a lot of it's a really short fight, it wasn't as exciting, it felt underwhelming or rushed, or where were the Demogorgons, etc., etc. Like there's just a lot of like, why was that the fight? It felt like underwhelming and stuff. I do feel the need to defend it in a way, but that is in my negatives because I do think that especially when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of just there, you know, like it just, it felt like a lot of build up to like something that just kind of felt like, oh, and now he's dead? Cool.
Yeah.
And the Mind Flayer's dead? All right, that seems, we've been fighting this for a long time. So, but I do think that the fight started earlier than you think in the episode. 'Cause they go inside his mind. And I think that people forget about that it's like, because I do believe the physical battle, underwhelming. But the entire episode, like first half of the episode, was exciting in that they were inside his mind. They were fighting in there and trying to figure out and hitting him from that end. And then they were hitting him from the Mind Flayers and symbiotic relationships, so weakening him there. And then also in like Will was fighting Vecna in his mind while they were also physically fighting him. So I think that it was a big exciting fight. It just, the actual physical part of it where it felt like, oh, we've waited so long for him to be defeated, not getting the physical excitement that we thought we might, could seem underwhelming. But I personally did not think it was that bad. I know that was very long-winded, but that's my positive / negative. And plus, I am a person who doesn't care that much about the fights.
Yeah.
So, but coming from a person that might
the
like the physical
was longer than the actual physical. Like
exactly.
The whole, yeah.
Yeah.
I get what
Which
you're saying.
I think is just coming from like personal preference, like what you like more. I didn't mind it. I do think that it could have been bigger and better, but I also am like not mad at it. Is that making sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Felt like that needed to be addressed. Is that one of your negatives?
Yeah, I think I'll just do this one right now.
You explain yours, yeah.
The fight, it's weird because the build up to the fight is so good, and I'll talk about this more in positives, but like the whole Mind Flayer stuff, and I'm a big fan of the Mind Flayer and big monsters. You put those two things together, and I'm just, I love it. I think Godzilla Mind Flayer is so cool. But the problem is when you only have a cast where one of them has superpowers, one of them kind of has superpowers, and everybody else is like a normal person. There's only so much you can do against Godzilla.
Well, and especially against a creature that you've been fighting for so long. Like, obviously not the physical part of, like, the Mind Flayer, but it's like, we're gonna see the same thing. That's just the reality of it. And so it's like, how do they make it more interesting? And I think that another, not argument, but another point that I've seen is that the pacing of it all felt weird. For example, like, when they run up to the cliffs, and it's like, oh, so it took you
get up there
12 hours to get over to Vecna. Or however long, like it seemed like it took forever, but now you can fly up and now you're on top of the cliffs to fight the Mind Flayer, which to me also doesn't bother me that much, just as the average viewer. But I do understand where it's kind of like, what's going on? Why is this so off?
For sure.
But anyways,
I feel like the way you can fix the end or the fight is kind of like what you were saying earlier, by having Demogorgons and Demodogs and Demobats be there. Like, have them, exciting. Some of them be fighting them instead of all on the Mind Flayer, because then because it's funny because the Duffer Brothers have said each person, they show you do something specific in the fight.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like, because of that, because it's so spread out, it kind of feels like nobody really does anything super important. Like Nancy does, Elle and Will do, obviously, but like Luke is shooting a slingshot and then
which
Mike
I thought was
on
hype.
fire. Like, it's cool. But because it was just like, I feel like if you switch it where, Lucas and Mike are actually fighting Demogorgons or Demodogs or something, that like, and I could already see people would bring up the problem of like, well, how could they like take on a Demogorgon solo when the Demogorgon, like, but I would rather have that than nothing. And
yeah, that's fair.
The way they've explained, there's a problem that I think the Duffer Brothers just need to shut up. They need to stop talking. Because they've done so many interviews post-finale where they've said things where it's been like, guys, just like, stop.
Just admit you're wrong.
They said, because they were like, yeah, there's no Demogorgons in the last fight because Vecna just wasn't expecting a sneak attack. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Okay,
yes, he was.
Here's what I'm like, okay, Duffer Brothers, let's explain it this way. Vecna and the Mind Flayer were so focused on putting the worlds together that they weren't focused on making sure that, or controlling the creatures so that they could be fighting, because hive mind, they're all working together. So it's like Vecna's focused on the kids and getting them back to where they need to be so that they can merge the worlds together. The Mind Flayer is helping him out so they're not focused on the creatures. That's a good explanation. Great. I just came up with that in 2 seconds. Didn't even write it. Yeah. But Duffer Brothers, you have to have an explanation that makes freaking sense. You can't just be like, yeah, they didn't think there was going to be an attack. Obviously, there's going to be an attack. That is crazy work.
It's not like, I don't want to just spend a lot of this episode saying or talking
negative.
About like, oh, they should have done this.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I feel like I'm still going to do it for some things anyways, is I feel like you could have explained it where just how the Mind Flayer in season 3 was like the melted body parts of people. You could do the big giant monster Mind Flayer was all the Demogorgons. Like they sacrificed all of them.
That's how they did it. Yeah, to make the tree.
Exactly.
Thing.
So to kind of wrap up.
You know what? So for me and Garrett, those are our explanations.
Yeah. That's
Put
my
it in writing. Yeah. Canon.
And so to end off this conversation about the final fight, I think there were definitely hype moments. There were some shots that I was like, ooh, like Elf jumping at the Mind Flayer. Yeah. So cool.
No, there were such good things. That's the thing about it, is that it's like there's such good things that I just wish that it was better so that people wouldn't complain about it.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
To me, it's like the fight with the Red Guards in Last Jedi. If
yes,
you take it for face value, it's like, whoa, this is really cool. But if you break down it moment to moment, it's like, wait, that doesn't really make sense. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So
I feel
if you just watch it to watch it, it's cool. If you try to break down every little minor detail, it's gonna fall apart. Which the best fight scenes don't do that, and I understand that. And I'll talk about what it's a turn off your brain kind of thing, and I'll talk about that as a negative a little bit later. But, and I know I keep saying that, overall, just to end off this portion, I think the fight was good. If you just take it for face value, it's fine. It's fun.
Okay, great. Not the best fight ever, but we liked it.
Yeah.
I know that you'll probably talk about this, maybe. Well, I think we talked about the demos and stuff. I feel like there's just like a couple little plot holes that are like minor, right? Just
sure.
little things that you're just like, oh, but what about that? But none of them for me were huge. I didn't care that much about the plot holes that are missing. I don't know if you care about those, so you'll have to explain if you do. And then my other negative is just that people have been going crazy and thinking that the other episode is coming out. But that has nothing to do with this season.
That has nothing to do with
or
the
season, finale.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of building off what you were saying, I think people are misusing the term plot hole in a lot of ways. Like, for example, Dr. Owens not being in the episode isn't a plot hole. It's just an unanswered question.
Yes.
There's definitely some plot holes for sure. There's definitely some things that don't line up with the continuity a lot. For example, people forgetting Will's birthday in season 4 is definitely a plot hole. Like, they've tried to play it off as like, oh, they just like actually all forgot about it. It's like, no, they didn't. You just forgot that was his birthday. You forgot that that's what you put on one poster in season 1.
Yeah.
Like, that's a plot hole. Even then, it's like kind of a minor thing. It's like
details, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
My thing is, I feel like there is a little too many unanswered questions. I already brought it up, but this is a personal thing for sure. Of where's Dr. Owens? I love that guy. I think he's such a cool character. I love him in season 4. I really like him in season 2. I think a lot of people, myself included, have complained a little bit about how like the military is just kind of up and vanishes and everybody goes back to normal, and that feels kind of weird. Dr. Owens is a character who is literally designed to be the I get you out of jail free card guy.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why they didn't bring, like the last time we saw him, he was handcuffed to a table in a lab. Yeah. I feel like there's just some unanswered questions.
And I do really like that character, and so it is sad that I don't know why they decided to not include him, but I think that it could have answered some of the unanswered questions at the end.
For sure.
To have him be there. So, anyways.
Like people saying Susie or Enzo or whatever from the last season, like not being in it. It's like, yeah, that's whatever. But Dr. Owens, I feel like, was an important enough character where he should have been in it, and he just wasn't.
Yeah, because he had the power to help them. That's the thing. It's like Enzo. Yeah, he served his purpose. He served his purpose. Mm-hmm. Same with what's her face. Can't use my brain right now, but like they lived their life in the show. We didn't need them anymore, but I felt like Dr. Owens, I agree, could have been of a lot of use. And it's like, well, what happened to him? I guess you just assume he dies or gets taken. Like, it's like, okay, I guess he's gone.
Mm-hmm. I think, just going through my last few negatives here, I think the epilogue is a tad too long. Specifically, the young adult scene, I think, is a little... It's a little weird.
Anything Jonathan said.
Yeah. All the jokes they were trying to do with Jonathan, I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Swing and a miss, guys.
No, I'm like, anytime Steve opened his mouth, I was clapping and crying. Yeah. Anytime Jonathan opened his mouth, vibe killer.
Exactly. So I think that scene was a little, which I'll talk about. Positively, I think the final scene with the kids is one of the best scenes in the show, in my opinion. For sure. And we'll get there. Yeah. But I just think there's parts of the epilogue that could have been condensed a little bit. And my last negative, this is a very hot take I have learned. I thought I wasn't going to be in the minority here. Apparently, I'm kind of in the minority from what I've seen anyways. To our loyal listeners, this will not be a shock. I do not like the use of Purple Rain. In fact, I hate the use of Purple Rain. It takes me out of it so hard. I think I like the song. I like Prince. But to the shock of nobody, I would much rather have like score in that scene. It's such an emotional moment. I don't want a goofy montage of their relationship with Prince music. I want a normal scene.
Can I counterpoint?
Yeah.
I think that they had to use a soundtrack song at that point because we didn't have a soundtrack use throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So there needed to be a soundtrack moment because that is a big part of Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. That's my counterpoint. I personally have never like loved that song. Like it never was like a song that I listened to growing up. But I do think that putting it in that scene has made me appreciate the song a lot more. And I love a soundtrack moment in TV, especially to get me to listen to a song and then think about that scene or that show. But Garett has always been a score guy. Mm-hmm. I love a soundtrack and a score.
there has been amazing moments in this show where they've used soundtrack correctly, in my opinion. Like the Running Up That Hill obviously is the greatest example of that.
Huge, yeah.
I just think it was in an otherwise really good scene for me. I think that was just kind of a negative.
Did you watch have you rewatched the finale?
I haven't rewatched it. No, I've seen rewatched
one
parts.
thing
But
that I picked up is that they use when they're like getting ready to like go do their thing and they like come up with the plan and stuff. One thing that I picked up, I don't know if it was in the finale or this episode. I think maybe the episode before. They were playing that song. I don't know what song it was that they were playing on the record while they were like getting together, like rigging the thing. And then Robin is like, you can't use that song. You have to pick something else. Like, you have to pick a different record, pick a good record. And so I think it was just like, and the way that they set it up with like the timer and stuff and like the record being the bomb, I think that I personally think it was good placement. And I think the way that they did it, like the way that they made it work. Because there's nothing worse than just like a song playing just to play. But anytime the Duffers have used a soundtrack song,
they've tried to make it make sense.
It's been like included in the characters. Like the characters are listening to the song too. So that's where I'm like, okay, I like it.
For sure.
But I understand why you don't. Anyways, positives.
So that's all of our negatives. To move on to the positives. Mind Flayer relevance, baby. Let's go. Finally.
Yeah, that's on mine.
Finally.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Mind Flayer. I love the Mind Flayer. I love them. Or it, or whatever. And I was really worried that they weren't going to bring it. Because I really love how they... Let me put a tinfoil hat on real quick. Because there's the scene where it's the Mind Flayer is revealed to be still fully involved and stuff. Where you see the flashback of when Henry first got infected. And I really love the moment. Some people have made fun of this. I don't know why. Because I really love the moment where Will is trying to like appeal to his like human side.
Oh, I love that
and
part.
Then Henry just is like, no. Like I chose. Like he didn't make me do anything. I chose to do this.
No, because we should have villains like that.
And then he has this whole monologue where he says like, we are one. Where it implies like, oh, they've been working together this entire time. It's not that one's greater than the other. It's like they are both together the main villain, like the extension of each other. But I don't think, in my mind, I don't think that's completely true. I think it's more of a Darth Vader Emperor kind of vibe, where Vecna's Darth Vader, the Mind Flayer's Emperor, the Emperor.
Because clearly, because the Mind Flayer has brought up and he still was controlling Henry to the end.
Exactly.
So yeah, for sure. Mind Flayer's in charge.
Like the Mind Flayer specifically would not allow
keeping him out of the
to
cave.
go from the cave. Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was like, oh, it's a mental, emotional thing. But no, he's like
block.
getting like, he's physically in pain as he's doing this.
Yeah.
And he like is when he's seeing this memory for again, it's like he forgot about it. He's remembering it. Like Will even
he's
says
reliving
like,
it.
That's why the Mind Flayer didn't want you to see this or whatever. And I think there's that part when he says we are one, right when he says one, he like cries. There's like a teardrop that comes out of his eye, which shows just how much of a good actor Jamie Campbell Bower is. But I think to me, that totally implies that like the Mind Flayer is still the one in control. Like he is still the big, or it is still the big bad. Vecna is the one that is, not that he's fully being manipulated or controlled, but he's not the big boss. The Mind Flayer's the big boss. The Mind Flayer just needed a vessel, somebody to do his dirty work for him. Yeah.
At what point did you know that big like tree thing looking thing was the Mind Flayer?
The kid, like, so when Will in the barn in the third episode, when he like draws the thing on the barn door, or the fourth episode, I immediately was like, that just looks like the Mind Flayer. And not many other people I saw online or my family really thought that. They're like, oh, I can kind of see it. And it's like, no, that's the Mind Flayer. Like that is clearly the Mind Flayer. So I knew, I at least had my thoughts and theories that was the Mind Flayer from the beginning, at least from when we saw it.
Should have posted about it, I guess.
I know, I should have, but I didn't fully expect the castle thing to be the Mind Flayer. I thought that was a cool reveal.
The like castle thing that they were having the kids in. What was it like? Did you figure it out once it became the Mind Flayer?
Once it became the Mind Flayer, or as soon as the ground started shaking, I was like, oh yeah, that's the Mind Flayer. The kids are powering the Mind Flayer.
Yeah, when I think me, Maddie, maybe my mom, when we were watching it at the beginning of the finale, and it did that one shot. Well, especially because it was on my brain because Brady wanted the mind flare to be part of it so bad that when it was showing, it had a shot of Vecna like hooked up and whatever, and then it like showed like the pulsing of the like heart, I guess you would call it. I literally said in my mind, and apparently Maddie and my mom did too, I was like, that's the mind flare. And I didn't say it because I was like, what if it's not? That I'd be stupid. But that was when I realized it. So cool that you knew earlier. Anyways,
I think I'm with Brady on this. I am so happy the mind flare became relevant.
and I think that it needed to, because that would have
For
been a
sure.
huge, like, okay, what was the point, you know?
Definitely.
But anyways, okay. Anything else from your positives?
Yes, I'll just quickly go through the rest of mine. I think, like I said, Jamie Campbell Bowers is so good. I think he's honestly the best actor of this season. He
For
is,
sure.
and I love the Vecna design. I love him as Vecna when he's fully in the makeup and stuff and the CGI. But I do think, like, when he's out of it, he's almost even more scary when he's like Mr. What's It
Henry
and
or
Henry.
Mr. What's It, yeah.
Because he's just so good. He can distort his face and have just like micro expressions.
Yeah, he has like the craziest little like tweaks to his face that you're like, what?
He can
Makes him
look
so
like
scary.
the nicest guy to the scariest man you've ever seen in your life on a dime, and it's so cool.
And it's just the little like head tilt, and you're like, how do you look so scary with that?
And that
Anything
scene
else?
when
Go
he's
ahead.
dead sprinting at the cave, like he's
Oh my
Officer
gosh.
Earl. That was
And
like
then he,
scary. I was frightened.
No,
That was
I know, we all were like,
terrifying.
whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, and then my last few positives. I think the epilogue's fun. I like it. Again, I think it's a little too long, but overall it's fine. It's a little cheesy, a little goofy. I do think the season 2 epilogue with the snowball, I like that a little bit more just because it's a little bit more, I think that it's a little bit more subtle, but I still like a bit more grounded. Like I get why we have to show every individual character's like finale. Every individual character lives on and has a good life. Like I get that. I think it's nice. I think it's heartwarming, but I do like the more simple. We're just showing the dance. Like we're doing the snowball and everybody will be there and everybody gets a little moment, but it's the snowball dance. It feels more real, quote unquote. But that last scene, man, where they're all playing D&D is so good. It's good. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, and the acting, you can tell it's real tears. Nothing better.
Literally. And when everybody goes and puts their folder on the wall, and then Mike or Holly runs past and Derek runs past and they take they're like the next generation and stuff. And Mike's watching them and smiles like, ooh, that's so good. It just, it made me feel things. Like overall, I think the finale was like, it was good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But that scene was just so like, it felt like a part of my life, a chapter of my life was closing because this show has been so formative. So I'm happy they did that. It felt very warranted and it felt very emotional and satisfying.
Totally.
Yeah,
was that all your positives?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me think. I think, just like the epilogue I liked it. I mean, I do agree that like it did drag on a little bit, but like I don't think that it's in a way to like be frustrated about. Like it's not in a way for me to be like,
no,
you know, because I do think that like this is a huge series that has accumulated over 10 years, and it's like, okay, like give it an hour to wrap things up. Makes sense to me. Just the whole like I believe thing. I do like that we were left off with kind of a question of Elle. I do think that it's kind of lame that nobody died, even though I'm glad nobody died. You know what I mean? It's just like classic, like every season, it's like nobody's gonna die. And just the little like things here and there, like when Steve like holds on to the edge and you're like, no, Steve, I'm gonna start crying right now. And then it's like, oh, he's fine. You know?
To me, that scene, like
they were reaching for a reaction.
Totally. Like it
was
it's like in No Way Home when Toby walks out of a portal or Andrew walks out of a portal and they pause.
They're like
for a
waiting
because they're waiting for the applause.
Exactly.
It's totally that type of scene.
It's 100% that.
Where it's
and
like,
that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's just a little like okay.
Yeah, it's like
the
all
cut
right,
to
stop
black.
rage.
Seriously,
no, stop rage baiting us. Anyways, but glad Steve lived. I am glad that they brought back the Mind Flayer. I feel like it's just like the finale in general is going to be something that I think a lot of people look back at and feel a lot of nostalgia for, even if they don't appreciate it right now.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Just because of how they wrapped it up? And I think that that's a super big positive. Because I think everybody's like quick to be like, that was the worst. That didn't live up to what I needed it to. But I think come 5-10 years, it's like, oh my gosh, remember how they wrapped up Stranger Things?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so glad everybody got their happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, and I like the whole Elle thing. I know I didn't like totally touch on that, but like how it's like, is she alive? Did she get like a little bit of like peace at the end, or did she really die? And I like the whole like I believe scene where they're all like, I believe.
Do you believe?
I think after watching it a second time, it's like hard to like be like, no. You know, because I think if you watch the scene of her dying, quote unquote,
you see her like right by the truck with everybody. And
you
then
see
she
the
just
plan
vanishes.
happen.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so it's like, I can't like not, because I'm like, I have no reason to not, to be like, wait, but like there, it looked like that was actually her, you know? So, and I do think the whole thing with like the powers, like, her being able to tap into Mike's mind, even though that the like radars were going off or the whatever, I think that that's like a huge point. It's like, how was she able to do that if she wasn't, you know, how was she able to just stand there and not like writhe in pain? She was right by them, but I guess also the things were going the other way and she was standing right here. So anyways, I believe because it's fun. It's like Inception where I'm like, that toppled.
Totally. I believe, but I don't want to believe. Not that I like wish Elle died.
I get that though.
But it's like more. It's almost more. It gets more of an emotional reaction out of me, almost that she
to
did
be like
die.
she's gone. Yeah.
Like.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say. Is that it's like after watching it again, it's like, well, I kind of have to believe because there's nothing I can see. But like, I don't necessarily like. I felt like it hit harder to see her.
For sure.
Go in like sacrifice, like the final sacrifice, whatever.
Yeah. Here's kind of a negative that I could have brought up earlier. I don't know how much I really like that Elle did her whole sacrifice thing because there's so much of, I mean, the whole show is kind of them showing her like we can get through whatever it is. Like we can get through these things together. Hopper has that great speech where he talks about like, it's not just about her living her life.
Whole,
it's about
like,
them
choice.
being together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it just, I get why they did it. And I think, of course, like that's the character you do that kind of thing with. But it's like so just tragic. And I love a tragedy. I love a tragic ending, that kind of stuff. But Elle just going to live in some random place in Norway for the rest of her life. It's just like, really? Like after everything they went through, like would she really just seclude herself from everybody forever? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to like, I mean, going back to the speech, it's like, you have to trust me to make this choice. It might not be the best choice for everybody else, but like, I think you look at Elle as a character and it's like, if she had to sacrifice herself, she would. But I don't think she would sacrifice herself if she didn't have to, if it meant that she got a life outside of wherever she needed to be, you know?
Definitely.
And so I think that that's the whole point. It's like, where do you think her answer went? And I think with her conversation with Hopper, I think another reason why it's like, I kind of feel like I have to believe is because I don't think she would do that to him without some sort of hope. And I think that that's her conversation with Mike makes a little bit more sense too, because it's like, I need you to tell them, like, I know you'll figure this out, so I need you to tell them. So that's kind of where I'm at. Anyways, is that it for the finale?
I think so. I'm sure we might bring up other finale stuff as we talk about the season overall, but let's
season
move on.
overall. Are you starting with the negatives again?
Sure. I can start.
Hey, you go ahead. The deep breath. Go ahead. Anytime.
Yeah. The more that I have sat with it and the more I have thought about it, kind of the less I like it. I don't think it's terrible for sure, but I can see the potential of what could have been. And it just is kind of sad because I feel like the Duffer Brothers, again, I'm talking about two dudes who have made a show that has been a formative part of who I am.
Changed pop culture.
Exactly. But I think they're kind of cowards because this season was the most
love
appeal to everyone kind of season. Like, they weren't. I think Stranger Things is at its worst when it's trying to be a show for everyone and not a show for a specific type of audience.
Yeah.
And I think that's like that with everything. Like, you need, like, season 1 is very clearly towards the audiences of who love Stephen King stories, who love Steven Spielberg stuff. Like, yeah, that's a big group of people, but that's still like an audience. Like, for example, not that this is a dig on anyone specifically, of course, but like, this is the season that the average Joe Schmo on the street would say is their favorite season, whereas the average Joe Schmo might not say that season 1 is the best season. When, in my opinion, which we'll get there, but season 1 is the best season because it's very focused, it's very well written. It's not a we have to throw in a joke every minute kind of show. It's not a let's talk over each other kind of show. It's a we have our story.
What it was.
Exactly.
It was focused.
It's the mystery, it's focused and stuff. And I feel like this season was just very general audience-y, very all over the place.
Which I put in my negative, that it became, and I don't want to say, I think a lot of people, like my dad, for instance, is like, it became too big, and when maybe I'm misunderstanding him, but it became too big to the point where it didn't feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but it came too big, like, production-wise. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think when people say that, but I think the way that you're explaining it is it became too big to the point where they felt like they had to appease too many people in a general audience.
Exactly.
Take that for what you will.
Exactly.
But that's what I felt like too, is that I feel like for how big the show got, they just couldn't figure out how to make everybody feel good at the end and have their thing. You know what I mean? I also think that because of how big it got, it left people, maybe a general audience, maybe a smaller audience, one that like really loves season 1 and like wants the vibes of season 1. I think it leaves them with unrealistic expectations because now the Duffer Brothers are writing with a lot more pressure on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you kind of have to give them some grace because it's like this has turned into like a little basement thing into like a huge thing, and now they have to answer to this person, this person, this person, this person, instead of when they had a lot more freedom. So I think it like comes from both ways because it's like, yeah, like that, but I do think that that's why this season felt different. Right?
Definitely.
I feel like that was a lot of words. I don't know if it made sense.
No, totally. I think we kind of have we have a lot of the same thoughts because I think, like we were talking about, the show got too big for its own good. Like, it's not a secret that this show was never supposed to be more than one season. Like, it always, at least the beginning stages, it was always just going to be a one-season show. Next season is a completely different story, like an anthology series, which is each season's a new thing. And season 1 was just such a massive hit that they, like, had to keep going. They loved these characters. They loved working with these actors. They loved the crew, the cast, everybody. So let's just keep going. This is a hit. Let's keep going with it. And if I were given $400 million to continue something that I really like doing, of course I'm going to keep doing it. But the small town hero story just got a little too big for its own good.
For sure.
And I just
I don't know if you feel the same way, but I don't think that it got too big for its own good to the point where the writing and the story wasn't, like, it didn't have a direction. Like, I think that they always knew where they wanted to take it once they knew that they were taking it far, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like they knew what the Upside Down was. They knew that there was the abyss or whatever. Like, I think that they always had that in their brains. I think they always, once they introduced Vecna, they knew. Like, I think that all of these core pieces were there, but then when they tried to tie it all together, they were then including stuff that didn't matter. Because of, like, for example, I am not a Jonathan Nancy fan. I just never have been.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why I like, their breakup scene that was so confusing to me. I know that some people are like, you're dumb if you didn't realize what that was, but I was so confused. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I had no idea that they had broken up, and then people were like, it was a breakup scene, and the Duffers were like, it was a breakup scene, and I'm like, okay, I guess that was a weird breakup scene. Like, I just think that, like, a scene like that takes so much time out of a show that we could have focused on something that feels more important to the audience. And I know for some people, Jonathan and Nancy are a huge thing. But, like, I think most people are like, what is going on? Like, give me answers, right? It's like, I don't care about Jonathan and Nancy. We can figure that out later. It's the end of the world. You know? Like, I'm like, I think that that's where you get, like, okay. And I think that's where it lacked in this season.
For sure.
Because in last season, in season 4, when it had those moments, it felt important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about totally, and you're talking like there's a few. You're getting ahead of me on my negatives because, when you compare the filmmaking and like writing of season 4 to this season, it's very different. Like, not that the writing of season 4 was the greatest writing I've ever seen, but I love.
I heard that
4.
they lost a writer.
I honestly, that would make sense because
I heard that they lost a writer on the like a part of their team that was like helping. It was like a girl or something. I might be completely wrong, but that's what I understood when I saw the video.
I haven't looked into that at all, but that totally would make sense because like the writing's just weird this season.
Just something.
There's
missing.
just so many. There's so many scenes of we're gonna do it this way. No, that way is stupid. Let me get out this thing and explain to you how this thing is gonna work, and it just feels weird. And even the cinematography and the editing and stuff. Not that I think it's cheap this season, but season 4, like every shot, every episode felt like a movie. It felt cinematic. It felt
and it's like that's what it should feel like at this point.
Exactly.
If it's going to be this grand. And I do think I saw this like side by side of they're running up that hill scene to like what Max this season coming out, and I was like,
it's not good.
It's like if you guys haven't seen that, look that up. And I mean, here's the thing. Again, I think part of the reason why that is so frustrating is because if it had come out the year after season 4, I think we could have a little bit more grace.
Exactly.
But how long did this season take? And so it's like, guys,
what happened?
What happened? But again, I do love this show. I don't want to just bag on it.
Yeah,
but
all of the criticisms are like out of love. It's because I love this show so much.
We just love it. Yeah, exactly.
And so that leads into like the whole. I have a few other things to talk about, but
go for it.
Like I said
when Garett
earlier,
said at the beginning of this episode that it was going to be shorter, I almost said, "There's no way this episode's going to be shorter."
This might be our longest episode. This season was a turn off your brain season, and
it was more just like sit down, shut up, enjoy.
Exactly. Whereas I don't think this show, at least when you look at season 1, when you look at season 2, I think season 3 is kind of a turn off your brain show. We'll get there. And season 4, I think, is kind of the melding of the two because there's still a lot of really, really, really good stuff in season 4. But the show just slowly became for example, there's that moment in season 1 where Jonathan and Joyce have that big argument in the middle of the street about like if they're going to have the funeral or not. And Joyce is like, I'm not going to have a funeral for that thing in there. Like, that's not my son. And then there's that whole Joyce and Lonnie scene where they have that argument about Lonnie's just back to get money. So he doesn't really care about his kids. Like, it's these very serious topics, very well acted, very well written. And we just don't get that anymore. And I think we got some of those moments in season 4.
For sure.
So it's not that I'm like, yes, the writing in my opinion, has never gotten to the same level of season 1, but they still had like their really strong moments, and it still was a great show overall. But season 5, I think, became a good show, not a great show. Yeah. And it just felt very Marvel-y. Yes. Where I love Marvel movies, and but the best Marvel movies are the Marvel movies where you don't have to turn off your brain, where you have to pay attention, where the plot is escalating and you're like, whoa, this is super interesting, or oh, that connects here. Whereas this was like they explain it to you every 5 seconds that you don't need to really worry about what's going on. So it just was kind of sad to see that this show that was once so good at like tell or show don't tell became a tell don't show kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Which I think is happening in a lot of media at the
For
moment,
sure.
unfortunately. And I think that maybe I'm wrong, but I think that it's just due to lack of like
Media
critical
literacy.
thinking and media
Hmm.
literacy. And I think maybe a little bit of like lazy writing. Not that I think that this show is lazily written or this season, but because again, I think it's a big show. It's a lot to wrap up. It's a huge task, and so. But yeah, I think that that's its own beast.
Yeah,
People can tell a difference even if they don't know what that difference is,
for sure.
and that's all. Like that's I think that's all writers need to know is that
For
people
sure.
like I think that most people who go out and want to watch movies or watch shows or whatever, they can feel the difference of that show versus tell versus show, even if they have no idea what's going on. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's great. Sometimes that's what people want is they want it to
Exactly.
be. They're like, because there are audience people that are like, I don't want to have to think for a single second. I just want to sit there and watch and enjoy. And it's like great, but I don't think that Stranger Things is the place for that because
Exactly.
most people that like this show want to be thinking.
Hmm.
And I do think that there's a common theme within each season where you start the season and you go, what is going on? Like, I have so many questions.
Hmm.
And then by the end of the season, you're like, oh my gosh. Like, I still have so many more questions, but that feels better now. Like, do you remember when this happened and this happened? And I think because they were trying to tie everything up, they didn't have room for that kind of
For sure.
situation, or at least for it to be a big part. Like, I think you got a little bit of that with like Henry and like what's going on with like Holly and where is she and blah 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 blah, but it didn't feel as high stakes to me personally.
Definitely. And it sucks because the first four episodes I thought were like
The
that.
first
They
four
were really
episodes were
good.
like that for
Yeah.
sure. I think that
And
the second half lost you.
exactly. Like they end on such a high note in those first four episodes, like the Demogorgon scene, Vecna showing up, and then Will getting
Will getting
powers.
his
Like
powers,
it's so cool.
and
And I
those are
was
all
like,
my positives.
exactly. Like I was so excited to see Will, like, oh my gosh, like this shakes up so much. But in the
Yeah,
long run, it didn't really feel that important.
but I will say, I think part of the problem is the release dates. Why are we breaking up the season into two halves? If you didn't, people would have enjoyed the whole season.
I agree.
1000%. Because they would forget if they were able to watch it all at once. The middle part doesn't become as important as the beginning and the end.
For
Every
sure.
time. So it's like if you just let everybody just sit and watch it, it was the fact that they broke it up to 4, 3, and 1. And then you're like, okay, 3? What were we doing there?
Hmm.
Because guess what? That doesn't matter. And
And
it
I
doesn't
think,
in really any season or any like, right? It's like, okay, now we're getting there. I think 3 could have been a lot more interesting with like cuz that's where the climax of a story is,
mhm.
right? But it's like I think that the Duffers went into that, if I might be wrong, but the Duffers like at the table read and stuff knew that it was going to be broken into that release date, and so then they finished 4 on such a high and then didn't know what to do with the rest.
Exactly. And I
So,
think you can kind of see that.
you can see it for sure. And again, it's sad that people like Netflix and stuff has become greedy, and that's what they care about now, because it's like, okay, well, if you had given the Duffers a time, like a regular season where they could just either release one episode at a time or all at once, then maybe they would
Hmm.
have written it differently. Sue
Exactly. And I
me.
think it just, I, when people were, because so many people were talking about like, wow, they shouldn't have waited 3 years. Like, what the heck? This is so stupid. Like, waiting
Part of
three
that
years.
was out of their control.
I was always the opinion of like, well, like if they take their time and it's really good, then I don't really
Then
care
it
how long
doesn't
it
matter.
takes.
Yeah.
But I saw a video the other day that was the best argument I've ever heard for or against long windows between seasons. And it was a girl who was saying the problem with having such long periods of time between seasons and episodes, like a month break between episodes, is people are going to come up with a better ending than you. And I was like, dang, like that's so correct because everybody will come up with their own theories. Everybody will get so excited with
Yeah.
for their own things.
That
it
it blinds them.
it just blinds you.
Yeah.
And you're watching it bummed out that what you thought was going to happen doesn't happen, rather than just wanting or being told the story.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think,
which I think can
yes,
even happen with weekly releases.
For sure.
I think that's become a problem too. I think we saw that with WandaVision. People came up with too many good theories that people will watch the end of that show and go, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. When it's not like the worst thing you've ever seen. It's just not what you thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
And so, again, yeah.
And I think it is just a problem of like, because on one hand,
social media and stuff. Anyways.
On one hand, for sure, it's my problem. I had these expectations. My expectations were too high. But on the other hand, you made my expectations high.
Yeah, so live up to them.
Exactly. Like the WandaVision thing. Like, you brought in Quicksilver, the Duffer Brothers.
And then did
you
nothing
told
with
me,
it.
you told me people were going to die. Like, you told me this was going to be a dark season.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. Like, that was just stupid. Like,
you have to set realistic expectations for your audience, point blank.
Exactly.
Stop telling people lies.
There's a problem with, and I'll bring it back around and let you talk here in a second, but 2025 was the year where I learned that directors and creators just need to shut up. And this is advice for myself in the future, because the same thing happened with Peacemaker season 2 with James Gunn. Lesser extent, but where he was talking about how, like, oh my gosh, the final few episodes, they're amazing. They're the best thing I've ever done. I'm so excited for you guys to see them. Like, there's going to be crazy things that happen. And then the final few episodes came out and it was like, no, that's it.
There's
like,
that.
Really?
Yeah.
But with that, it feels very much like, because he came out and said later, like, oh, it's because like this is the most emotionally satisfying thing I've done. Like, filming this scene was so satisfying for me and my wife because she's in it, and John Cena, and like it's so satisfying to me personally. And so, well, I still think he brought up people's expectations, and that was stupid. Like, I can kind of see where he's coming from, but the Duffers doing it's gonna be a dark Christmas, like people are gonna die. Like, that's not like a personal, like, oh, I see what you're trying to do there. That's like you're just trying to get people's expectations up. Like, I think that's like, guys, what are we doing? Why did you do that? Yeah. That's just lying.
So annoying. So lame.
But yeah, to end off, I have a lot of other things I'd like to talk about, but I'll let you talk about these things. I just think the overall, again, we'll talk about positives in a second. I think the season was fine. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but the potential that I thought it had was not met.
Yeah, that's fair. I will also say, again, about the setting expectations before I go into some of my notes, is that you can't tell somebody that a product is going to do A, B, and C and sell it to them and not have it do A, B, and C.
A, B, and C, yeah.
So why are we doing that? That is so annoying. Anyways, future lessons for anybody out there that is going to be making anything. Anyways.
It started with Marvel editing things out of their trailers to keep that for the movies and be cheeky. And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand that. But now it's escalated to people just lying. So
stop lying. Anyways, I feel like we kind of hit everything. I honestly have no other notes about negatives. I think I kind of put in my 2 cents where I had it and it lined up with yours. But I'll go into positives. Woo! Sweet. We love season 5. I do think that there were like some really cool moments and memorable things and things that this show will be known for in the future, right? There's like super cool parts to this show. For example, all of the Holly stuff. I thought that was such a good inclusion. Like, I loved Holly as a character. I thought that it was cool to see, like, why Vecna is using these kids and, like, why he used Will. And it's because the Mind Flayer used him. And, like, they know, like, all of these things. I thought that storyline was great. I thought the Delightful Derek was great. I loved him. I thought that whole storyline, which I was not necessarily excited about when they announced that they had more cast members joining. I was kind of like, why are we adding these kids? Like, this is stupid. But I ended up really enjoying that. It was probably one of my favorite parts of the season. I think Will was great in this with his powers. I thought that they wrote him good, especially in the first half. I think that was a good inclusion to kind of like bring him back into it and like see what he was always capable of. And then I also liked that the squad was together a lot more. Like, I thought that it felt good that everybody was together and like working together, because in previous seasons you do get a lot of separation and like we're working together and then, oh my gosh, we all come together at the very end and now it's time to like fix everything. But I think it was cool that we got to see them all kind of like come up with everything together, which was kind of fun for me and satisfying for me, especially for a final season where you're like it would have sucked so bad if they did that again. And then it's like, well, they didn't even like get to spend time all together, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I also thought that like getting the answers from like about Henry, about the Mind Flayer, about the Abyss, about the Upside Down, like I thought that that was all very satisfying for me personally. So there were some really good things in this, and I think that there are scenes and pieces that will be super memorable and that we will look back and appreciate fondly, like I was saying earlier, especially like the ending of the series as a whole, that epilogue and everything. I even think like some of those scenes from like the final battle, like you were saying, when like it shows and like Elle shoots the rock at the Mind Flayer and then he like turns and it's like her back. Like there's just really cool shots there, and yeah, I think the unpopular opinion of Garett, I think Purple Rain is going to be super iconic for probably, I mean, not that it wasn't iconic, but I think it'll have a resurgence for sure. And just like little things, I thought that there were some good, satisfying pieces to the season that I really enjoyed, and I like to focus on those a lot so that I can forget about the other things.
Definitely.
So anyways,
Yeah,
I also
would
loved
agree.
Baby Henry. He was so good. No,
He
like
was.
like that actor, I'm so obsessed
It's
with
so
him. Like
sad.
he was so cute. Like that poor cute little kid. Definitely a dark person to begin with, because how was he just smashing that guy with the rock on the side of the head? Like he was definitely the right person to you know, I don't know the right word to use, because he already had some darkness in him. But anyways, I thought that all the scenes with like Henry and baby Henry and like the ending of that was really good. So
For
that
sure.
might be a repeat. But tell me your positives, Garett.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff you were saying, I really like Delightful Derek. I thought he was great.
He's
When
iconic.
the internet was like flaming this kid before it came out, like, who is this dumb kid? Like, I don't care about this
Yeah.
guy. And now he's like the breakout star of the season for good reason, because he's hilarious. I did like the Holly stuff. I do think like I don't like the trope in stories where in the final season or final chapter or whatever, we focus on a character that's not super relevant
So much,
to the
yeah.
rest of the show, and then that leaves not that much time for characters that we've grown up or watched the whole
Fair.
time. So I think that's a little weird, but I did like it, so that was
I
good.
think that, and I think that since she had been somewhat there, it's like okay, whatever.
Yeah.
If it was like Delightful Derek and just him, then I feel like that would be weird.
like-
But I feel like there was a
Yeah.
connection to Holly, right?
For sure. And I think the set pieces were really good. I think the set pieces in the first half were better than the second half. Like all the Demogorgon house fight, when the Demogorgon went to the Wheelers,
So good,
when
yeah.
the Demogorgons attacked, when Vecna showed up, and Will got his powers. I thought those were great. I like that Mike was relevant again.
Yeah, Mike was
at
so
least-
good this season.
At least, like, I wish he was more relevant throughout the entire show, but that's a whole other conversation topic that I won't go down, because Mike was like the main character of the first
In
season.
season
But
one,
anyways,
yeah.
I like that he was relevant again, at least for the first half and the epilogue. The music was really good. Like, I don't think a lot of people have been talking about the score, but a lot of the reason why the show is so successful is because it has such a unique musical identity, and
Yeah,
I think the
super
music was so good this season. Trying to think, I had some other stuff. Oh yeah, Mind Flayer being relevant again, so satisfying. I do think that you could have brought it in a little earlier. I think if you started doing the Mind Flayer stuff in that volume 2 chunk, not many people would have as many
And
issues with it,
problems, for sure.
and it would have made it more entertaining. But whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, I have a little bit more negatives than positives, at least off the top of my head. But I do I am satisfied. Like I'm watching it. Yes, it could have been better. I wish it was better, but I'm like, okay, this can be the end of
We
Stranger
have
Things.
complaints, but it's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal at the end of
Yeah.
the day. Because
Like
guess
it's
what?
not like
It's a TV show.
it's not that I'm coping. It's just like, well, it could have been way worse. It could have been way better.
Have
and
been
it could have
way
been way
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it could have been better. Like it's not like it could have been like way better. To be fair, to play devil's advocate, I think that a little bit of those minor tweaks that you were saying, like I think you keep the outline, right, and you make some tweaks, and it's like, okay, yeah, great. But I don't think it could have been like crazy better.
I think
Are there better
structurally-
seasons? Yes.
For sure. I think structurally there's a lot that like the military plot line is stupid. Is dumb.
Yeah,
I hated
anytime they showed
whatever. Yeah, I think there's a lot of I think it could have been way better. I think there's a lot of parts in here that are really, really good that I would have kept, but there's a lot of things that I would have changed. But I'm not the Duffer Brothers, so.
Fair enough. I thought it was good enough.
But that's the thing.
Anyways.
It's like I don't want it to be like yes, it was good enough, but I'm sad that it's like, yeah, it was good. It was good enough. Like I'm fine. Like I wish I was like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. Like this was
Yeah,
so
but
good.
with a show like that, like I feel like people need to learn to manage expectations.
But again, I don't want to. Like this is Stranger Things. This was a show where I didn't need to lower my expectations. If anything, season 4 showed me like, oh, Unc still
I know
got
that
it.
is kind of sad that season 4 was so hype. I love season 4. But anyways, I think it's like great. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah.
Like I know that I've said a lot of negative things about it. Not negative, maybe just constructive. You know?
for the spinoff.
So anyways, I think that it's just, yeah. Such is life.
Yeah.
Not everything's gonna reach the level that you think it's going to. And I think because season 4 was so insane, it's kind of like even more of a thing. You know what I mean? For this, you know what I was talking about earlier with like who they have to answer to so many people. The strike happened. Like it was a lot. Anyways,
Definitely.
to end,
right.
overall,
I think this show is just so formative to me. I will always love it. I'm always going to look back on it with affinity. I will probably rewatch it in the future. I would assume a few times in my life. I'm bummed the ending wasn't perfect, wasn't exactly what I wished it could have been. But again, I'm still satisfied overall. And my season ranking is as follows, from bottom to top. The bottom, season 5, for the reasons that we talked about. I never thought that season 3 has always been at the bottom for me.
I cannot
hate
believe that you put season 5
3.
below season 3.
I think
You need to simmer with 5 a little bit longer. Maybe rewatch
But
it down
originally,
the road.
when I finished the finale, I was like, yeah, it's better than season 3. But simmering thus far, I'd put it below season 3. I think there's stronger moments here than in season 3, but I think as a package, season 3 is better. It's more consistent, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd put season 5
more
at the bottom.
focused. That's our word
Yeah.
of the day.
Exactly. Season 5 at the bottom. Not that it's the worst thing I've ever seen, like we've talked about, but I've
Again,
extensively
you'd
talked
watch
about
this
this for
again
an hour.
over something maybe that I would watch on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. So season 5, season
You
3
don't want to
right
watch
after
Grey's
it.
Anatomy or something.
No. Well, maybe I'd watch early seasons of Grey's Anatomy. But anyways, season 5, season 3, I remember people called me crazy for not liking season 3 when it first came out, and now people are saying that it is. Now everybody's agreeing with me that it wasn't a very good season, and so I feel very vindicated in that. But I also sometimes see people say that season 3 is the best season, and I'm like, "What are you smoking? Get off! What are you? No, not at all."
We can talk
I
about
think
that later.
there's so many problems about this show that stem from season 3. I think season 3 is where they start to jump the shark a little bit. But anyways, the good stuff. Not that the other twos aren't good, but again, I think they're good. This is where it gets great. Season 2 is great. I love this season 2. I think it's a good continuation of season 1. Season 4, amazing,
I
so
love
good.
season 4.
So good. Season 4 is fantastic. And then season one of Stranger Things, I think, is one of the only like perfect seasons of television. It is just so good. It's everything we have talked about, positives and negatives, is because of season 1. If season 1 didn't happen, we would not be talking about it right now. It is just fantastic. I will always love it, and it is very, very personally inspiring. So that is my season ranking.
Slay. Well, I also think this show is amazing. It's a great show. It will always, it has changed pop culture forever. I think this is something that will inspire many things to come. Probably already has. Again, the summer of Kate Bush, never be forgotten. But anyways, I just think that there's some unforgettable things in this show, and that it's great. And my season ranking goes as follows. Season 3, which I do have to say, I was a season 3 defender. I think, let me put it this way, it's the vibes. Because a lot of it was like October,
100%.
like December, like gloomy season. And I think that just the shift to being like seeing Hawkins in the summer and it coming out during the summer and all of the merch, that was when they kind of like got into like more of like they had collabs with H&M. And so it was, I think, a lot more in front of people's face. And I think there was a lot more hype after season 2. And so I think why people defend season 3 and why people love season 3 is because it hit them at the right time in their life for them to love that season.
And that's exactly why I don't like that season very much, because it's so commercially. But I've said my piece.
And you know what? That is totally fair. But I think to a general audience viewer, I am, that's why people love that one. It's because they killed it with the marketing. They made it very commercialized, the summer vibes,
very colorful.
All that. Very colorful. I think that's probably why. It's visually a very iconic season.
Definitely.
Right? Like, there's so many different, like, the neon lights
Ahoy,
and, like, the Scoops Ahoy. Like, it's just so many, like, iconic pieces. Like, the carnival, like, I think you say season 3 and it's like, oh, I know exactly what that looks like. I think 100%. You can say that for season 4. I think season 1 and 2 get a little bit combined. And then season 5. So I think aesthetically, that's why people love season 3.
Definitely.
And why they defend it. So, anyways, but it's still at the bottom of my list. And then I go season 5. I had a tough time with season 5 and 2 because I think it's probably a little bit influenced by recency bias, but I actually did love and enjoy season 5. I got to rewatch the last 2 episodes with my sister who binged it all, and she loved it. She's like a day one Stranger Things girl, and she was obsessed. It was very formative for her because it came out during elementary school and then ended her first year out of the house. Graduated from high school. So super formative for her, and she loved it. And so I was cool to get to do that with her. But I still put it below season 2. I am not the biggest season 2 lover, but I still think I like it a little bit more than season 5. And
season 2 is quite boring, to be fair. Like, it's not boring, it's slow.
It's slow. Yes. Yeah. But I think you reminded me of Snowball and all of that really solidified its spot at number 3. And then this is where I have the hot take. I think I like season 4 more than season 1. And I think
that's valid.
Again, it hit me. Season 4 came out at the right time in my life for me to appreciate it heavily.
Definitely.
And so I think that's why I love that so much. Season 1 to me isn't as impactful because I didn't watch it when it came out. I was kind of like a latecomer. And so, I mean, I watched it early. I wasn't bandwagoning season 3 and 4, but it was
it wasn't
I was younger. I didn't appreciate, movies and TV the way that I do now. And so it's just, I think season 4 was just, that's why I like it a little bit more.
For sure.
Even though I do think season 1 is great. I think all of the seasons are great.
Having just rewatched the entire show before season 5 came out, while I still put season 1 at number 1, on a rewatch, at least this one, season 4 is easily the funnest to rewatch.
It's so fun. And I know that people don't like the like gore and like scary part of it, but I feel like you just get desensitized to it at a point. But
Yeah.
I love season 4. I think it was just the most like shocking, like the most exciting for me.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
people need to shut up about the gore stuff because like that's the point.
That's
You're
the
not
show.
supposed to like it. So, yeah.
Anyways,
Um,
I know a lot of people that stopped watching Stranger Things after season 4 because they were like, I just can't.
Good
handle the
riddance.
violence.
Good riddance. I don't care. Like to those people, it's like
Those are the people
then
that
good.
the season 5 was made for.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Yes, literally.
Anyways.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But yes, so I'm sure we will both be talking.
We love
about
season
the show
4. We love season
for
1.
a long time,
We love them all.
and we will probably talk about this. We've had a few episodes where we randomly go on a Stranger Things tangent, so I'm sure we will in the future. This is not the last. We will
Again,
talk
it
about
is.
this show.
It has changed
Pop culture.
pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
It has changed
And
things.
love it or hate it, it's Stranger Things. It is always
way
going
that
to
it
be
is.
iconic. Yeah.
I just think I think it falls into the same category as like some of these huge things. It falls in the same category as like it's as big. In my opinion, it feels as big as like a Star Wars, as a Marvel, as a DC. Like those, it's created a universe that feels as iconic and will continue to be iconic for forever.
Definitely. And let's
So.
hope they just never make.
Let's not reboot. Let's not. Let's
we
not
can do
spin
a little.
off.
We can do a little spin-off show with none of the other characters. We're just like, oh, this is in the same world, but nobody else shows up.
Let's not
like,
do
sure,
nothing.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't do
smart.
I don't want Dustin to
It's
show up in a
Netflix.
spin-off.
It's
yeah.
Netflix, so
There's
unfortunately
already
that
the
will
animated series coming out, so that's weird. Anyways, let us know what you guys think of
Ta-da.
Stranger Things. I'm sure. I mean, a lot of our listeners love the show as well. Let us know your thoughts on the finale. On
Are
the
we
final
being too
season.
harsh? We spent a lot of time on negatives.
I mean, yes and no. I think again, it's because at least
An
for me,
hour
it's
and
because
12
I
minutes
love this
later.
show. It's because I love this show so much that I have so much, like,
We're just
I'm-
passionate.
exactly. Like if you walk away from this,
We are
thinking,
not
"Man,"
haters.
Yeah. If you walk away from this thinking, wow, Garett hated it, you're wrong. I didn't hate it. I still liked it. I still enjoyed myself. I just wish it could have been a little better. Like I am not like awake at night like, I need to post a video about how much I hate this show. No. I love this show. And will continue to for the rest of my life.
And amen.
Amen. So Natalie, what are we watching to get back on our regularly
my
scheduled
pick?
program? Yes.
Oh no, Garrett. Let's watch Count of Monte Cristo.
Let's go. I've been wanting to rewatch that movie. Sweet. All right.
I was told to watch a different movie for us because neither of us have seen it, but I cannot think of what it was at this moment.
We'll do that
so.
one. We'll do that one in a few
So
weeks.
sorry if you're the one person that told me that, and you'll have to wait.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know what you think about Stranger Things. Watch Count of Monte Cristo. Get hyped for our next episode, and we will see you in the next one.